Good afternoon, teacher. Good afternoon, classmates.
Good afternoon.
Today we are going to talk about Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. I'm going to talk about a little bit of biography of Charles Dickens. And okay, he was born on February the 7th, 1812, in Portsea, England. His parents were middle class and but they suffered financially as a result of living beyond their means. When Dickens was 12 years old, his parents forced him to quit the school, and he had to work in a blacking factory. It's a place where shoe polish is made. The horrific conditions in the factory haunted him for the rest of his life, as did the experience of temporary orphanage, because all of his family were took upon the prison because of the financial problems that they suffered. Dickens never forgot the day when a more senior boy in the warehouse took it upon himself to instruct Dickens. The name of this more senior boy was Bob Fagin, and Dickens had a resentment with him, and he wanted to characterize this man as a villain in Oliver Twist. After inheriting some money, the family of Dickens could got out of prison, and he could return to school and finish their studies. Then, as a young adult, he worked as a law clerk. The next, please. As a law clerk and as a journalist. His experience as a journalist keep him in contact with the darker side of the social classes during the Industrial Revolution. And then he became famous and wrote some books. And the first novel that he wrote in 1856 was the Pickwick Papers. Then, the next year, in 1857, the first installment of Oliver Twist appeared in the magazine Mentis Miscellany. So the passion behind this novel was the own experience during their childhood of Dickens. And also the novel was a protest against the poor law of 1854. That this poor law dictates that all the public charity must be channeled through the workhouses, but public workhouses. Continue with the life of Dickens. In 1856, he married, but after 20 years of marriage and 10 children, he fell in love with an actress, and he stayed with her until he died. So he remained as a prolific writer to the end of his life, and some of the writings that they made was Great Expectations, A Tale of Two Cities, Christmas Carol, David Copperfield, Bleak House. In 1870, he died of a stroke at the age of 58, leaving the mystery of Edwin Drood unfinished. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of Oliver Twist. So the tone and the literary devices of this novel, is sometimes ironic and sometimes hyperbolic. The setting is in London and the environs of this city, and the English city and the English countryside. So now we are going to watch a plot of Oliver Twist.
she died right after my birth. I spent the 5 years of my life in a battery farm for young army. Then I was transferred to a workhouse for adults. Everything started one day. Me and the other boys were so hungry that we decided that I should ask for my food. I didn't know that asking for more food was a bad thing to do. Let's see how my story begins. Mr. Bangor, can I have more gruel?
How do you dare to ask for more? I offer £5 to anyone who can take this boy away from this workhouse.
Oliver was stretched and thrown out of the public workhouse. He was staying at. After that incident, Mr. Sowerberry, a local undertaker, took Oliver as his apprentice of a funeral home. In this house, Oliver met Noah Claypool, another apprentice who was jealous of Oliver's speedy advancement, and he bullied Oliver.
Where's your mom? What does she do? I don't know her. She died right after my birth. I read her she was a prostitute. What? Yeah, I think so. What are you talking about, stupid boy? Say the truth. She wasn't a prostitute. What are you talking about? You weren't a prostitute.
Mr. Sowerberry bet Oliver real bad that Oliver decided to run away and down and traveled toward London. Outside London, Oliver starved, met Jack Dawkins, a boy his own age. Jack offered him shelter in the London house of his benefactor, Fagin. It turned out that Fagin was a career criminal who trained orphan boys to pick pockets for him.
Oliver, you have learned everything you need for pickpocketing. Now, look at that old man and steal his handkerchief.
I don't know if I can do this. I don't feel good.
You have to do this.
Oliver was living very happy with Mr. Brownlow for a long time, but Fagin and his conspirators were not happy to have lost Oliver. So, one day, when Mr. Brownlow asked Oliver to return some books to the bookseller for him, Nancy, a member of Fagin's group, found him.
There you are, boy. We have been looking for you for weeks. You have to come with us. You belong to Fagin.
Where are we going?
We are going to steal from a woman's house.
Thanks! You can enter now. There's no one here.
You cannot steal from this house.
What has happened here? You're injured. I will help you. You will stay here in your home with my niece Rose. We will protect you from the police. Come here.
They grew fond of Oliver, and he spent an idyllic summer with them in the countryside. But Fagin and a mysterious man named Mons were set on recapturing Oliver. Meanwhile, it was revealed that Oliver's mother left behind a gold locket when she died.
Rose, I need to tell you something important that I already given to Fagin and Mons. Tell me everything you know. Mons is Oliver's brother, and and he's trying to destroy Oliver so that he can keep his whole inheritance. Oh my
Rose told Mr. Brownlow what she knew, so they decided that they must meet Nancy again to find out how to find Moss. Finally, they could not find her because days after she was murdered by a member of Fighting's gang, the Ghostly Trial. After reunited Mr. Brownlow with Mistress Maylie, they come to confront Moss.
Well, I need you to tell me the truth about Oliver's parentage. Now.
Since I have no more options, I will tell. The truth is that I am Oliver's brother. Our father, Mr. Leaford, was unhappily married with a wealthy woman and had an affair with Oliver's mother, Alice Fleming. I have been forcing Oliver all along in hopes of ensuring that Oliver is deprived of the family inheritance.
Well, now you have to sign this paper, in which you accept to share that family inheritance with Oliver. You have to sign it now.
Fine, I will.
In order to understand better the novel, I'm going to talk about main characters, Oliver, Nancy, and Fagin. Oliver is a child hero of melodramatic novel of social purpose. Although he is raised in character surrounding his purity and virtue are absolute. Throughout the novel, Charles Dickens used Oliver's character to challenge the Victorian idea that paupers, that is to say poor people and criminals, were evil at birth, arguing instead that a corrupted environment is the source of vice. Oliver appealed to Victorian readers' sentiments because his story challenged their prejudice. Then we have Nancy. She is a child of the street, she is a prostitute, and she has been a thief and drinks in excess. She is immersed in the vices and is condemned by her society, but also she commits perhaps the most noble act in the novel because she sacrifices her own life in order to protect Oliver. Then we have Fagin, and you can see he is a career criminal who takes in homeless children and trains them to pickpockets for him. Dickens' portrait of Fagin displays the influence of anti-Semitic stereotypes. He described Fagin as the Jew who had a repulsive face, and in other occasions as a loathsome reptile. And then we have Mr. Brownlow that helps Oliver and takes him home. Then Mr. Bumble is the one that offers £5 to anyone that can take Oliver away from the workhouse. Moss is Oliver's half-brother, Then Rose is Oliver's aunt, and she's raised by Mrs. Maylie. Mrs. Maylie is a wealthy older woman who have raised Rose. And finally, Noah is a charity voice that fights with Oliver because he was bullied. I would like to say that there are plenty other characters, but there are not mentioned because we need to make it summary. As you may realize, there are social issues that Charles Dickens portrays in this novel. One of the most important is the Poor Law of 1834, otherwise known as the New Poor Law, as you can see in the image. This established the warehouse system, which instead of providing refuge for elderly, for the sick, and for the poor, the warehouse were to become a sort of prison system. The warehouse system was hated, and people did everything they could to avoid becoming a subject of it. Dickens used this novel to point out truths about Victorian England that polite society tried to ignore. There are other social issues such as crime and poverty that Oliver and other boys were into, and also child labor, in which children have to work because they were into sports. Well, so now I'm going to talk about a little bit about the themes of Oliver Twist. The first of all is the failure of charity. Well, much of the first part of Oliver Twist challenges in the organization of charity run by the government or the church. The principal system that was into place was the Poor Law, which was stated in 1834, and which stipulated that poor could only receive government assistance if they moved to a governmental warehouse. In this place, places where labor was required, almost always families were divided, and portions of food and clothing were meager. Besides, based on Dickens' point of view, the officials who run these warehouses did not respect the values that they preached to the poor. Then we have institutional cruelty. Well, this cruelty of institution towards the unfortunate is perhaps the main theme in Oliver Twist, and it represents the passive and active cruelty of this institution toward the helpless and the poor people. Then we have the powerlessness of children. Dickens was deeply interested in the powerless, and the children are the main symbol of this. Because, for example, Oliver was trying to survive, but it was not possible until someone powerful or an adult took him to survive and to take him out of the immoral or dangerous world. Then we have the city versus countryside. It is a clear meaning about a dichotomy between those aspects, because the city meant corrupt, dirty. It was corrupt, dirty, and city. Meanwhile, the countryside was pure, was healthy, and they could find education. In the city, Oliver was forced into immorality. Meanwhile, in the countryside, Oliver was able to recover his health, was able to have education, was able to